Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. Today, we've got 3 great decks for you, and we've got a bunch of stuff for the weekend missions. We also are going to answer your questions. Let's get started, but not with the deck that's on the thumbnail. We're going to start with Chase's Red Cloak and Dagger because you need to, if you have access to it, play this frickin' deck. It is so strong and so cool. Our friend Chase Pitzer made this. It fundamentally says, yes, you can play around Red Hulk. Yes, you can play around Heimdall. How do you play around both when I'm making cards like Dagger and Vulture Humongous? If you kill one of those cards, that Dagger or that Vulture, whether it be Shadow King, whether it be Shang-Chi, you're still dealing with Heimdall, you're still dealing with Red Hulk, and sometimes, given the presence of Hope Summers, you could even play both in the same game. All right, so you can find our friend Chase at twitter.com/ChasePitzer. Phenomenal player, famous for the Jolly Green Giants list, which we featured on the channel several months ago at this point. This deck needs Kitty and is built for both Red Hulk and Hope. Ghost Spider, however, can be Iron Fist. You lose a bit, but not too much that way. So this deck is taking off. Multiple people are winning getting Infinity tickets with it. It's going really well for everyone. You should 100% try this list. So turn 1, you drop Kitty. Turn 2 is Angela or Craven. Turn 3, Hope as a general rule. Turn 4 is Dagger/Vulture and move cards. Turn 5 is Red Hulk or more move stuff. And turn 6 is either Heimdall or Shang-Chi, or, if you didn't play Red Hulk on 5, sometimes Red Hulk. Again, basically, you're making your opponent guess what you're going to do, and as long as you're paying attention, they're going to be playing for you to do certain things. They're going to be playing cards in certain locations. For your Heimdall, they'll be playing a little bit of power into the far left, far right, just to make sure that they can win that location, and then the nearest location, the far left location, will have either a stack of power there or in the middle, and you should be able to figure out where you need to go, where you need to play to compete in order to beat them. And if they're going that tall, well, you just don't play Heimdall or Red Hulk, and you drop a Shang-Chi right on their face and win the game. It is really powerful, really strong, and I urge you to try it out. Please hit that sub, like, and comment button. We bring you 7 days a week of videos here on this channel. Out of surgery, whatever it is, we don't miss days here. 7 days a week of videos for the best Marvel Snap content. We cover everything all your Marvel Snap needs. At this point, I feel like sometimes decks from these videos really help shake up the meta, so you get to stay ahead of the meta and you get to know what the meta is doing by subscribing to these videos. Also, if you're willing to help us grow, please let the videos play. Watch as long as you can. It really does help us grow. Like, comment. We're trying to get up to 20k. We just hit 10k. It's amazing. It's breathtaking how quickly this channel has grown. Let's see if we can keep it going. All right, Svartal asks if Haiva will get the Thanos treatment to incentivize playing him. Nope. They're not changing Thanos to incentivize playing him because that's like a design decision. I don't think they're doing it because they broke Thanos and Thanos was too good otherwise. So Haivo is not broken and too good otherwise, so they're perfectly fine just leaving that card as is, which is what I believe they will do. Efrain Lopez notes that less Alioth means more Invisible Woman and Ghost. So I think that is very true for Invisible Woman and to a lesser extent Supergiant. I don't think that it is necessarily true of Ghost. Ghost's best home was the Sarah Miracle decks that were also running Zabu. And, well, Zabu got nerfed, so I expect to see less Ghost than we would otherwise. That Sarah deck would otherwise come back into the meta, but without Zabu, it is a significantly worse deck. Meanwhile, I think that there's a real chance that Invisible Woman and Supergiant stuff is broken now. We're going to have to wait and see just how good it is, but I think it's going to be incredibly hard to beat unless people are metting specifically against it. If you have that old build that runs Invisible Woman, MODOK, Hela, and then a bunch of big stuff, I strongly urge you to give it a try right now. The only thing that should be able to answer you at all, really, is move decks. I guess Junk has a reasonable shot, too. All right, Fire Troll wants to know what I think of the exclamation points. So I'm an English teacher, so people like to ask me random English questions. I don't use exclamation points a lot in my real writing. I feel like if I can't convey my tone without using them, then there's not much of a point. But they're fine, right? They exist for a reason. They're a nice tool. As always, with every tool, it's how you use it. If you use it too much, it becomes lame. If you use it once or twice here or there, it's totally fine. And yes, I know there are exclamation points in the thumbnails to these videos. Welcome to the YouTube algorithm, friends. If you'd like your question read out in Sunday's video, tomorrow is the release of Snap Judgments podcast. So if you'd like your question read out in tomorrow's video, leave one in the comments to this video. All right, this is our rank 2 deck. It is Tanjo's Loki deck. Tanjo sits at the top of the Infinite leaderboard and is largely a Loki main. This is my current favorite build of Loki, which is not shocking since it's the number 2 list, but I love Kitty, Elsa, Loki. Like Kitty, Angela, Elsa together go so well in Loki, and they give you, along with Coulson and Cable, a real way to win the game without being able to hit that Loki, and I think that's really great. It's relatively simple to get Mockingbird down to that 3-9 here, 2-9 here. Everything works really well together. Like, this deck is all about self-synergy. All right, so you can find Tanjo at twitch.tv/Tanjo. Snowguard here can be Maria Hill, Jeff can be Nightcrawler. All of these things obviously make the deck worse, but they are changes you can make. You can try Dino for Mockingbird. Elsa and Kitty are kind of the point of this build, and you're going to need Loki. So this is currently, again, number 2 on the Infinite leaderboard. I don't think anyone's really ready for Loki right now. Unless you're playing Hell, I think Hell is probably the best deck. This is the next best thing to do because everyone's playing a bunch of mid-range bullshit, and Loki eats mid-range bullshit. So turn 1, Quinjet versus Snowguard versus Kitty, not Angela, is the decision. If you have Angela, I will often prioritize Kitty. If you have Loki, I'm prioritizing Snowguard or Quinjet. It depends what else I have that draws. Because if I don't really want to go Snowguard and Coulson before my Loki, right? So if I don't have Coulson, I'll end up playing Quinjet and then, I'll end up playing Snowguard right away. Turn 2, Angela is generally better than Cable, again, pending the presence of Loki, pending what they have. If they're a combo deck, I will often throw out a Cable. As soon as I know that I can disrupt them by Cable, Cable becomes a priority. Cable's one of the better cards for that in the game. Turn 3, Elsa over Coulson over Angela. I generally like to get Elsa down almost as a priority. She adds so much power to the deck. She's like one of my main win conditions. Turn 4, Loki over turn 3. Turn 5, Loki or Mockingbird, and then turn 6, Shang or Cosmo Plus. And obviously at any point, generated cards could replace things on this curve. Loki is not easy to play, but it's also not that hard to play. I strongly urge you, if you are struggling for Infinite or struggling to climb, to try this deck out. I think it's one of the best decks in Marvel Snap. It has an answer to everything opponents do. It puts enough power on the board while being safe from Shang-Chi. It's a thing of beauty. Please give this deck a try. If you're sick of dealing with Limbo, well, you've got Snowguard. If you're sick of dealing with giant stuff, you've got Shang, right? Like, this deck has an answer to absolutely everything. It even gets reasonably big because, again, when Jeff is a 5, Kitty's a 7, right? You're just putting a lot of power on the board at a head of rate stats. All right, we're going to talk weekend mission decks. We got one Zemo deck here. They're not giving us the Zemo weekend missions till the end of the month, so we don't know what the weekend missions are really going to be. So, like, this is just a Zemo deck in case Zemo randomly shows up. We've got 2 more US Agent decks and a bunch. We've featured 2 more in each of the past couple days. And then there's no real good deck, no proven deck that runs both US Agent and Zemo, largely because US Agent has been bugged, or getting him from Spotlights has been bugged. So we're going to do a 3rd US Agent deck. This is my favorite US Agent deck in the game right now. It's in a toss-up with the Robitussin deck that we covered yesterday. All right, so this is Baron Z17. This is Desmond Kara's version of the Ordinary Harry list. Ordinary Harry basically put this together right after Zemo came out. I just want to keep highlighting this because this is a metaphors. This is a deck you're going to see. If your deck just folds to Dr. Octopus, then this is going to be really difficult for you. Daredevil gives you the information you need to know whether you should Dr. Octopus or Professor X. If you Doc Ock, the idea is that between Cable, Zemo, and Gladiator, they have no more cards. Sorry, and Yondu, they have no more cards where you're still drawing cards, and you Doc Ock out cards. And then they have a very limited number of things they can do to end the game. Professor X says you can't even play cards here. Cannonball is basically guilt-free destroy. It's just, this deck does a little bit of everything at an extremely high power level, and Cannonball is so good. I urge you to try this out if you have access to it. You could try Arrow for Cannonball or Vision for Cannonball. Both of those are significantly worse. But other than that, I think the deck is basically set as is. Next up, we have Regis Kilbin's US Agent deck. This is a nice, simple evolutionary deck that doesn't bother with Hulk. It says, I'm just going to make my Abomination as cheap as humanly possible, and I'm going to out-tempo you by playing cards like US Agent and Man-Thing. If I can go something like Abomination, Man-Thing, US Agent, which is rare but doable, we're off to the races. Scorpion early is really good. Cyclops is obviously excellent. They don't have a lot of space to play. They have a bunch of negative stuff on their board. You make their stuff weaker and weaker, and then you just get cheap power cards. If they don't have Luke Cage, this is a really cool list. It cannot go as tall as many things in the meta, but if you're seeing a lot of mid-range stuff in your pocket of the game, this is a really cool way to use US Agent. Next up, this is the current winningest untapped US Agent list. I don't know who made this, honestly. I think this might be a safety blade. I might have seen this as a safety, but I could be wrong. Someone let me know if I am. I'm pretty sure this is a safety because I remember being like, I want Goose in this, and being like, I guess I can't really fit it. But whatever. Excuse me. This has Zabu, which is sad, but it's still completely playable because all it really wants to do is drop a 4 on 3, right? Because it wants to spend its last turn doing Spectrum, and then it can't really do any of the other shenanigans on turn 6 because it's spending that turn doing Spectrum. This deck just wants to put a lot of power on the board. It's not a fancy deck. It's not doing anything amazing. It just says, I'm going to put a ton of power on the board. And because I can't get my Zabu trick, if I'm not Spectruming at the end of the game, I can go... I can spend my last turn going US Agent and Man Thing, or my turn 5 going US Agent and Cosmo or Luke Cage. And then I'm all set up for my endgame Spectrum, which is going to pump my power as their power is lower, and we're good to go. I think this deck is really cool. I think Spectrum needs a little bit more, but we're pretty close to this being a real list, so it's worth checking out. Also, don't hesitate to give Wong a try in this if you're interested. Sorry, a little stuffy. All right, this is the deck we're actually going to feature. This is our friend. You can see the difference, right? Look, base art, my variants. So this is Phil Woodward's Toxic Monkey. I've been having a blast with this list. I think this is really, really good. It's not doing toxic stuff as a way to like say, you're going to be negative 40. It's doing toxic stuff as a way to say, I'm going to keep you low enough so that I can go over the top you. And I think that's really, really cool. Particularly, if you can get Sarah down, this is a whole different list. If they don't have Mobius and you can get Sarah down, then that like Hazmat, Scorpion, Shadow King nonsense is so strong. When that is, when Hazmat and Shadow King are 2 energy, along with Hitmonkey combined, Hitmonkey being 2, Mysterio being 1, etc., you just put so much freaking power on the board that it's really hard for your opponent to compete. US Agent's only bad target here is Sarah. You've got Luke, so that like you're fine with your pumps and not having to worry about that Shadow King. Everything here works really, really brilliantly together. You can find our friend Phil at twitter.com/PhilJWoodward. You can try Elsa for Hope, or like Psylocke, I guess, if you really want to get that Sarah out early. You need Monkey. I'd be willing to try Bast for Kitty and US Agent for Lizard in a similar list. So Lizard doesn't lose any power if you have Luke Cage, if they have 4 things, which is nice. And Bast doesn't really have bad targets here. It's going to hit Hope and Luke and Sarah for 1, which is bad, but like the making Mysterio 2/9 alone is worth it. Giving Angela and Bishop is probably worth it. Cool. All right, so this is both fun and pretty good. A lot of people have been really competing with it, including both myself and Phil. And this is like a deck that I'd really urge you to give a try if you like Hitmonkey at all. I personally am a big Hitmonkey fan. So turn 1, Kitty. Turn 2, I like Scorpion better than Angela, because if you don't get Scorpion down turn 2, it's kind of useless. Then you go Hope is better than Angela and Kitty, which is generally better than Bishop. Turn 4 is the same as 3. Turn 5, Sarah, or whatever you can on Hope. If you can get 2 cards on Hope, that's obviously way better. And then turn 6, go off. Hitmonkey is your key, although if you choose your locations wisely, US Agent is a massive amount of power for this list. Because US Agent is basically always a 2/9 in this list, and that is a lot of frickin' stats. You've got a 2 or 1 if you got Sarah, US Agent, and then like a 2/10 Hitmonkey, and then that Bishop and Angela are huge, and their cards are losing power, and it's really, really hard for them to compete. This list is absolutely excellent, and again, I urge you to give it a try. All right, certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with on-air thanks. We've got Abigail Giesla, Mandatory Burnout, Cables, David G. Wingfield, Direwolf, LAB, Father Newman, Good Dog Gamer, Inc., Jane Everett, J.D. McDonaldino, Caretix Lee, Coy Ray, KCH, John O'Golding, Doku, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins, Rob Silverman, Juan Diego Lebed, The Bizza, X-Force V, Skippy G, Tommy Nyquist, Black Dahlia, The Great Kazoo, Jessica Gamble, Ryan Wood, Models, Louis Antunes, Matt H., Bikey Hijinks, No Flex, Ocularis, Craig Sterry, Pretty Chill, Seamus, Spike Jones, Two Ties, the Pirate King Tucker, the Homie Min, and of course, Gunny T. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate the support, as always. Please check out the Patreon if you're interested in supporting us just a little bit more. The $1 tier gives you access to tournaments, and hit that sub, like, and comment if you made it this far in this video. Help us grow. We appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow for the podcast, and then Sunday for another Snap Take. Peace.